Hello folks, my name is Jenna from Golden State Times. Welcome back to the newsroom, and today I have a breaking news story. This one comes courtesy of Bloomberg, and it says the Supreme Court suggests that it will curb green card applications. You heard it right, folks. Here we go. And it says the U.S. Supreme Court suggested that it was poised to block applications for permanent residency from thousands of immigrants who are living in the country under the program that gives them temporary legal status because their home nations are in crisis. So we're talking about TPS. Now, TPS has protected different illegals from different countries like Honduras or El Salvador. Most recently, they have protected people from Venezuela. As you guys know, Venezuela is in a very bad state, and those that have fled that communist nation had come to the United States and were protected under TPS, or Temporary Protection Service. I believe that's what it is. So now the Supreme Court is suggesting that it's going to curb the ability for them to apply to get green cards. You heard it right, folks. It says, hearing arguments by phone on Monday, the justices indicated that they would bar green card applications from people who enter the country illegally and then later secured temporary protected status, TPS. Justice Brett Kavanaugh told a lawyer representing a Salvadorian couple that she had an uphill climb in arguing that the federal immigration law lets her client seek permanent residency. And that's exactly what they want. Now, as you guys probably know, DACA is also set to be heard in arguments by the Supreme Court in the very near future. Now, it was supposed to be heard back in October of 2020, but it got postponed. They said most likely it's going to be either in the spring or in the early summer. It can even be pushed back into the fall. So those two things are going to be happening within the Supreme Court within the next few weeks. So stay tuned for that. It says that Kavanaugh said, quote, "We need to be careful about tinkering with the immigration statutes as written, particularly when Congress has such a primary role here." He went on to say, quote, "Why would we jump in here when Congress is very focused on immigration?" So that's usually what happens. And that's what's happening with DACA. So the Supreme Court gets a case regarding DACA, and what do? They said, you know what? It's passing through Congress. Lawmakers are debating this stuff, and then they throw it out, or they suspend it, or they push it back. And that's exactly what Kavanaugh is saying here. He's saying, wait a minute, why should we rule on something like this when congressmen and women right now are debating? When Congress and the Senate right now are debating immigration, how come we just don't wait to see what is the result of this, and then we can possibly make a determination based on whatever Congress does? The Supreme Court does not create law. The Supreme Court interprets the law. The people that we elect into office in Congress and the Senate, they are the ones that are in charge of creating law. That is how it works. And that's exactly what Kavanaugh is saying. It's saying we have to figure out what these lawmakers are going to do first before we get ahead of them. So he goes on to say that the case is pitting immigration advocates against President Joe Biden's administration. It says, which is defending what it says is a 30-year government practice of rejecting applications from illegal immigrants. Biden's team inherited the case from former President Trump and his administration, which formalized the policy. Some of the court's conservative justices wondered why the Biden team wasn't being more forceful in its arguments. The new administration has stopped short of explicitly saying, as the Trump team did, that the position was clearly the best reading of the key statutory language. The Biden administration instead says that the court should defer to the government's interpretation as a reasonable one. a position that might leave the government free to adopt a different approach later. So, Chief Justice John Roberts told a Justice Department lawyer, quote, "I was struck by the extent to which you brief undersold your position." So he's saying, what you just said doesn't make any sense. You're getting ahead of yourself, is pretty much what Chief Justice John Roberts told him. And the Supreme Court is kind of baffled because the Biden administration is fighting this, right? Because this plays into their narrative, yet they're not fiercely fighting it like most people would have thought, because they know that they cannot win. They know that the Supreme Court can't do anything about this because there is debate going on about immigration within Congress. They're going back and forth between the White House and Congress and in the Senate. The Supreme Court can't listen to this argument right now. So they know that they're wasting time. That is the reason why the Biden administration lawyers are going soft on this. They know that it's going to be thrown out. It says that TPS currently covers more than 400,000 illegal aliens from about a dozen countries, more than 250,000 from El Salvador alone, who are under federal law, may have had continuous presence in the country since 2001. TPS shields recipients from deportation and lets them hold jobs in the country legally. So they have something known as job permits. It goes on to say that regarding the Salvadorian couple, the case before the High Court concerns Jose Sanchez and Sonia Gonzalez, a married Salvadorian couple who entered the country illegally back in the 90s. They applied for and received TPS after El Salvador suffered from a series of earthquakes back in 2001. In 2007, Sanchez got an employment visa through his employer, Viking Yacht Company, and 7 years later, he sought to use that visa to get what is known as an adjustment to get permanent status for himself and his wife. U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services rejected his application back in 2015, saying that Sanchez was ineligible because he had never been admitted into the United States. So they tried to go around the system and play the system, and the system grabbed him and threw him back out. He thought that he can get ahead of himself. He thought that he was going to be able to cheat the system, but the system did not allow it. It goes on to say that Biden clashes with his allies in the Supreme Court green card case. The Biden administration knows 100% that they cannot win this. It's impossible for them to win this. Why? Because the Supreme Court is going to try to shield themselves by saying, wait until we see what happens in Congress. It says that Sanchez and Gonzalez contend that they met the inspected and admitted requirement by having being approved for the TPS program. They say that the government stance would force them to return to El Salvador and apply for immigrant visas there before they seek permanent status, something that they say Congress didn't intend when they set up the TPS program in 1990. So that is what's going on right now, folks. A lot of immigration cases are going to be heard in the Supreme Court. One of the biggest ones is going to be this one regarding TPS and DACA. DACA has been going through the process for the last, 3 to 4 years since Trump went into office back in 2017. So it has been going in and out from the high court to the lower courts and then back to the high court, and then it gets pushed back down to the lower courts. And now it's set to be heard in oral arguments starting very soon. Most likely, there will be a hearing, oral argument hearing regarding DACA very soon. Now, will the Supreme Court actually say anything regarding this? Will they actually come to a conclusion regarding DACA? Most likely they will not. Most likely it's going to happen once again where they grab it and throw it to the lower courts. Or they were going to tell Congress to do something about it, to finally do something about DACA as it's, continues through the whole process. But let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. We're very interested in your comments, suggestions, and opinions. So sound off in the comments below. Also, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, you click that notification bell, and you visit our website, goldenstatetimes.com. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, you like us on Facebook, and you click the thumbs up button, folks, because if you click the thumbs up button, you help us beat the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for joining us here at the newsroom. My name is Jen Goldstein, and I hope to see you here very soon. But until then, peace.